Hi guys, my name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to the Noni M podcast. So today I want us to talk about Umjiako, right? Amid the allegations when it comes to LPC and amid the character of Umjiako, don't you guys think, are we not at liberty to think that a probe and investigation is meant to be happening or some sort of inquiry when it comes to Mjiako? There's a lot of things that are very questionable. Because of those things that are very questionable, is he not supposed to be investigated? Particularly when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case and the confession that he supposedly represented Ndanzi on. But before we get into doing that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you will be supporting this channel financially and in numbers, and I thank you so much for all of that. And please make sure that you do understand that engagement is key. When we are requesting this thing of please like, please share, please subscribe, it's because on the social media space, engagement is key. Now let's talk about this. Guys, you know that back 2023, in fact, I think the article was from back in 2013. Let me look for it so that you guys understand where is this coming from. Because now his credentials, ne? Okay, wait. His credentials are very, there's something very, yeah, when it comes to that. But no one is saying that Mjiako is not a lawyer. No, he is a lawyer. We are not questioning that. However, that being said, it does not mean, okay, here is what we need to know about Ntokozo Mjiako. Ne? Ne. Mjiako, why is he part of the case for starters? He is the guy that was named as Ndanzi's first lawyer in the Senzo Meyiwa case, right? And then from that, we started having so many questions. Ndanzi from KwaNongoma, how did he know Mjiako? Ndanzi with no other criminal charges and stuff. How would she know? Because it does not look like he is a criminal. And also the case from Bukeng was also thrown out. So does that mean, like, there was a lot of questionable things around Mjiako, do you understand? However, back in 2013, where is this article, guys? I can't find it now. There it is, 2015. Legal advisor blows lead on how Piecha evaded criminal charges. So this was Mjiako, who, okay, let me read the entire article for you guys. Suspended police chief Ria Piecha stands accused of illegal accessing a top secret interception file that allowed her to be let off the hook on criminal charges in 2013. Ne? That's what this article is about. However, the person that we are more interested in, because he was working there, yes. Here is the. Those present, including acting crime intelligence head Major General Bongiwe Zulu, the division's acting finance head Major General Obed Mutazela, and Captain Mjiako, a qualified attorney. So he has been a qualified because this is December, this is 2015, right? This is what Mjiako said. I did express my concern about the lawfulness of bringing the interception file to the meeting to be perused, especially in the light of the criminal case that has already been opened against the National Commissioner, said Mjiako. Mjiako, who is, yes, this is where. Mjiako, who is facing unrelated disciplinary charges, said removing an interception file from the crime intelligence offices and allowing its contents to be divulged, especially those under investigation, was a criminal offense. Interception files are classified as top secret and can only be perused, or the information contained therein can only be disclosed under very strict and specific circumstances, he said. And then Mjiako spotted 2 technical deficiencies in the interception file. Okay, that's not what we are on about here. This is what we want to know. Sources present at the meeting cast doubt on Mjiako's version of events. Why would a national commissioner jump an entire chain of command and give instructions to a captain, leaving out his commanders who were present in the meeting? At the time of the meeting, the docket was already with IPID and copies of the transcript were already with the media. They pointed out the technical deficiencies in the interception file were not material and could be remanded. They also pointed out Mjiako was arrested in 2013 for a cigarette hijacking incident and subsequently suspended for involvement in an armed robbery. Mjiako had an axe to grind with Netumadzela, who is in charge of Secret Services Fund, as he could not account for Secret Services money given to him that was later deducted from his salary. A source said this obviously upset him intensely. He is a rather frustrated young man of a questionable character who is trying to find a way out of legal and disciplinary problems he has. Mjiako declined to comment. So look at this, guys. Mjiako had issues when he was working there, concepts as a captain and dealing those things. He already had the degree, the LLB, I suppose. But now, if back in 2015, because this article is from 2015, it was written by who? Let me check it out. Who wrote? Legal advisor blows lead. This is 6 December 2015. Then this was Mzilika Zwa Africa in investigations by Stefan Hofstadter and Mzilika Zwa Africa. Then it means if Mjiako is of questionable character and Mjiako can conspire and do things to when he's angry, then we are at liberty to question his involvement in beneficiary, like in him perhaps being a beneficiary of those fraudulent activities there, go LPC. We can't be questioned when we want to ask those questions about him because of his character. His past speaks for itself. So the question is now, if Mjiako is such a guy, what could stop Mjiako from taking money if he is a guy that was questionable with taking Tonton Fund money that was deducted later from his salary? If he is such a man and he had such a case and he's still roaming the streets of South Africa, what happened to that case? There was a robbery case. There was another one of hijacking a cigarette truck. There was an armed robbery, that second one. What happened to those cases? The question is, what happened to those cases? And also, when you find him doing favors for police, what does that tell you? This person, you hear Times Live is reporting that he had 2 serious cases, armed robbery, and the other one is hijacking. And he's still walking around as if nothing happened. Doesn't he owe favors to people because he was working for SAPS at some point in his life? So wouldn't he get a call from people and say, come when I Zalana with your law degree and assist? Chances of him not having the FFC number in 2020, could that be something that is not far-fetched? What are the odds? of Mjiyako not having that FFC number and for him to be, but how did he become in possession of FFC number Mrs. Scholz, Lazan Scholz? How did he get hold of that? There's a lot of that is happening there. I don't know if you catch my drift, but there's something going on. Where did Mjiyako get the FFC of Mrs. Scholz? Fine, now they are saying it was a duplicate. Why is his name not showing? Because aren't they supposed to both show that they belong to that duplicate when you are searching the system? I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? But Mjiyako is not a clean man. He's not an innocent man, according to that article. He had a troubled past, and it looks like things were doing up and down for his life, especially his career. There's a lot of things going on. So do you think he's innocent and this is just a coincidence? Ikhona into apha noma intoni na? Ikhona into apha noma intoni na, I am telling you, but there is something here. I don't know what it is, but Mjiyako is completely not innocent, whatever it is. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to that? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views because I feel like there is something big that is happening between Abo Gininda. The first person to meet Mjiyako was Gininda. So it looks like there might be something between Gininda and Mjiyako. There is something. And it's for Gininda to act as if he doesn't know Mjiyako. That's very questionable also. That is very, very questionable also. Doesn't make sense. For someone who was working for SAPS? No, doesn't make sense. There is something there, whatever it is, but there is something there. Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.